Barbershops are closed again, so I am reverting back to my high school fashion. Does not make this video less important or not as official, because this is actually a pretty important and relevant topic for the current timeline. Whether your internship had been cut short or gone completely virtual, this is right around the time where most summer internships in the investment banking realm would probably end, and you probably know by now whether or not you're getting a return offer, or you're probably in the works of getting your review scheduled to find out if you are getting a return full-time offer based on your summer performance. Something I really want to highlight here is the fact that I, of course, went through a regular summer internship and did not know what it felt like to do it virtually. I know I've had a lot of questions on how do I make myself stand out during a virtual internship? How do I make sure I ensure the full-time offer during this? And I feel like I've given pretty limited replies, and my general scope has been make yourself more present, communicate more effectively, given that you're not going to coincidentally run into someone or have someone be aware of what you're doing at all times, because there is no cubicle environment where your associate or your analyst is standing or sitting next to you at all times. The video that you're watching now hopes to cover the part that I do understand, the aspect of a full-time offer following your summer internship. To be holistic in my approach, I'm first going to cover the possibility of not getting a summer internship extended. I do think that given the current circumstances, the best mindset to be in is don't blame this upon yourself. Don't have this be a walled off mindset where you think, because I couldn't get the investment banking summer internship to full-time offer transition, I am now screwed. That is definitely not the case. This is not to say blame the environment, blame the company, blame the circumstances. You can, but I think that is also a negative way to do this. I'm sure you not getting an offer had a wide array of reasons. It could have been the company's standing currently financially because of Corona, or just previously your personal performance, which definitely could have been an issue, or just the number of spots that they initially wanted and you might have not made the cut or the threshold that they were looking for, and perhaps they were looking for 15 analysts and you were the 16th on the list. To be as optimistic as possible, and I would almost say this is realistic as well, given current circumstances and given what a crazy summer this has been, the fact that you have a summer internship on your resume is already a boost. You still have that 3-month, 10-week, or 8-week, or whatever the internship ended up becoming, experience on your resume. That is a big plus, and you could definitely use that to go somewhere else. If you really enjoyed investment banking and you're bummed out that you didn't get the full-time offer, you still enjoy finance, you like being on Wall Street, then use it to go to another bank. Banks hire all the time as there's fluctuations in extending offers and people not accepting them, or out of the cohort or class that they were looking for and they hired for the summer, only a fraction of them ended up becoming full-time offer worthy individuals, so they're looking to fill those spaces and they're looking out to those that already have that investment banking experience. Let's say it's kind of a double whammy and you didn't get the offer, but you also didn't like investment banking. There's plenty of jobs, plenty of opportunities that are going to look at your resume and go, this guy has summer experience in investment banking, a full summer paid crazy hour internship. I'm sure he'll do well at our company too. Slight pro tip, and this is in no ways to be unethical. I'm not encouraging lying of any sort, but especially if you're in the second bucket of things. You didn't get an offer, but you didn't really want to go back to banking anyways. You don't necessarily have to mention and go out of your way to talk about the fact that you didn't get an offer. Once again, I'm not telling you to lie. If they ask you directly, hey, did you not get an offer? I think you should probably tell the truth. But if they ask why you're looking into something else other than banking, the main reason should not be, I didn't get an offer at that bank, therefore I'm not returning. It should be, I'm not interested in banking after having done a summer in banking, but I'm still interested in the corporate world or the business world. And I think I'm going to use this summer opportunity and leverage it to jump into your company and work for this position. To iterate one more time, don't go out of your way to lie, but also don't go out of your way to portray yourself, because objectively getting an offer is a better look than not getting an offer. Now, on the flip side, let's say you just got an offer, or you're expecting a full-time offer. You had a great summer. It's been great, even though you've had to have everything on Zoom and Skype business. You've had a great time with the analysts, the associates, the bank. MDs are great. The bank has great culture. You got the full-time offer. Now what do you do? Well, if everything I just mentioned is true, take the offer. Sounds great. The business is doing great. The company's doing great. You had a great time. And now they're extending you probably a sign bonus and money and benefits and prestige, and your college life dream career came true. Take the offer. But let's say you're an overthinker, kind of like me, and you have the offer in hand. It's been a great summer, but you still want to consider things. The world is your oyster. The world is your open oyster. The world is your oyster, and you don't want to settle immediately. You don't want to sign that contract right away you're in that group me and all your friends are saying, I signed the contract, but you're still a bit, not skeptical, but you don't want to sign your life away just yet. And there's things that you want to consider. With the offer in hand, I think the first and foremost, the thing that you need to accept is that every job out there has its pros and has its cons. You are never going to find the perfect job. I actually have a video on finding the perfect job, and the conclusion of that video is there is no perfect job. Especially in the current corona setting, with everything being uncertain, there's definitely somewhat of an economic downfall. The job market has been frozen. I think the fact that you have a job offer in hand is the more important part. You shouldn't settle, but you should also realize having this thought process of there might be something better, therefore I'm going to give this up and go for something else, should have a bit of less weight, especially given current circumstances. Investment banking is a great career start, especially given current circumstances. It has its perks, a wide array of perks, and you having a job offer is great. However, now that you have the experience under your belt and you know what banking is like, sure, you might not understand the in-person nature of it all, the cubicle life, but you know what banking is about, you know what your bank does, and you know what the day-to-day kind of feels like. You might have not been treated like a full-time analyst, but I know a lot of banks try to do their best by having these summer interns take on analyst level work and giving them the experience for their benefit and the bank's benefit to really understand what is it like being an investment banking analyst. I think you should sit down with the offer in hand and really think about, did I enjoy the summer? And even if I didn't fully enjoy it, every minute didn't have to be the greatest thing ever, but is this something that I can handle for 2 years and weigh the benefits, weigh the costs, and think about it on a bigger perspective rather than the summer itself. The summer should serve as a bedrock for your perception of the future 2-year, 3-year full-time horizon. And most importantly, think about, did I enjoy the people that I work with and the work that I did? And of those two questions, the people and the work, I almost think the people is what's more important. You're going to be spending a lot of time with these people, and maybe by the time you come back, the couple analysts might have transitioned out to PE, a couple associates might have moved out to getting MBAs to think about something else. But realistically, a firm is going to stay relatively consistent in who they hire and the types of people they hire. So think about your summer experience not solely as a function of content. Did I enjoy sending out that calendar invite? But think about it more as, did I enjoy working with Bob or Sarah on that assignment? Did I enjoy getting told what to do by Billie Jean? I think that's far more important, especially given that our field is about spending a lot of time collaborating or getting told what to do by people. And if you can't stand that aspect of those people specifically, the 2 years, 3 years will be miserable. Even if you were able to last the 6 to 10 weeks that you just did, it'll be a completely different story given that the timeline is longer. You don't have the lightheartedness of being an intern over a full-time analyst. Really consider the people. I also want to highlight the fact that I'm not encouraging you guys to overlook the content of the work. I think it's important to be relatively fulfilled by the work, do something that you feel like you're good at or you relatively enjoy. Life is going to be miserable if you absolutely hate the work that you do, even if the people that you do it with are fabulous. However, I think it's important to consider the fact that most jobs at the end of the day, especially desk jobs or corporate jobs, aren't going to be the most fulfilling. You're going to be filling out PowerPoints, you're going to be sending calendar invites, writing long emails, sitting in conference calls you might not necessarily care about. And I always reiterate this point. I do think that investment banking is one of those jobs that has all those components, but also gives you a heightened sense of responsibility and a wide array of skill sets that you need in any business/corporate-esque job. So long story short, I think it's important to think about whether you like this or not, whether you feel fulfilled, but realistically, you're not really going to find that perfect job that's going to fulfill you. So you might as well focus on whether or not the people that you worked with have been great, whether or not you could relatively stand the work that you can do, instead of setting such a high bar of considering, did this work fulfill me or did I enjoy every minute that I worked on this assignment? I think in terms of what you do, the questions should revolve around, can I see myself doing this for a couple of years, and will this be a good foundation for what I want to do in the long run? Let's say, unfortunately, both of your answers to both of those questions, the people that I work with and the work that I do, were both negative. You despised working with those that you worked with this summer, couldn't even stand them, even though you've never even been near them, and it was through a screen. You could just feel the hatred protruding from the screen, and you couldn't hold yourself together when they told you to do something. When you got an invite for a virtual happy hour, you started cringing, and the work that you did sucked. You hated making those PowerPoints. You hated thinking about buyers and M&A and restructuring, and finance sucks. Screw Wall Street. You're still not in a bad spot. You knock something out, and I think it's so hard to knock something out without experience, and an 8-week, 10-week investment that you got paid for prove to you that this is something that you don't want to do. If you can't do something for 8 weeks, 10 weeks, you probably can't do it for 2 to 3 years. And I think that's props to you. You gain something, you made money, and you also learned that this is something that you don't want to do. Now you have a choice to take what you have and leverage it to go find something else. And this is kind of similar to the no offer situation, except you have a backup to fall into. Obviously, don't snake the bank. Don't keep telling them you're probably going to sign the offer and then last minute back out. I think that's a relatively unethical way to do it and burn bridges that you could have kept otherwise. But look into other jobs like corp dev, or maybe a different bank if the people that you worked with is something that you hated, or working for a startup, or something completely new. Maybe you want to go to grad school and study something bigger and better. Maybe you've invested your entire undergrad career to banking, and after you've done banking for real, you realize this is something that I don't like. Brian lied to me about this, and I need to invest my time elsewhere. I think it's okay. You're not behind. If anything, you're ahead. It's so easy for us to get caught up in this mindset that if we do something and then don't continue it, we've wasted that opportunity. But reality is, just because you don't go forward with something that you've already gone forward with doesn't mean you're going backwards. It's just you're taking a different path on the fork in the road, and having done that allowed you to know that going forward with what you've already gone forward is actually going backwards for you, and taking the other way is going forward. So congrats to everyone who successfully finished a summer internship. I think finishing alone is an accomplishment. This is a tough field. They don't go easy on you because it's a summer internship. Rightfully so. Congrats once again. Whether or not you have an offer in hand, I think it's still an accomplishment. As I've just explained, having that internship alone on your resume is a great thing to have. If you don't have an offer, think about what you want to do next. Use it to do that thing that you want to do. If you do have an offer, consider whether or not you want to return. And if not, the same thing as the no offer. Consider what you want to do and use what you have. I know that I tend to have this tendency of being overly optimistic, but I really do think that it's important to make light of what you have and also be realistic in your approach of your career and realize that there might not be a perfect solution, but there is a solution. And regardless of whether you believe it or not, you're already stepping in the right direction. Having this opportunity under your belt has opened doors for infinitely more opportunities. And as cliche as it sounds, don't let the offer define you. See you guys next week.